Hello, amazing students. We are going to start a section called literal equations. Literal equations. Another way to say literal equations, please write this down. We'll start by writing down your name and the period that you are in. But another way to say literal equations, and this is the way that we refer to it at our school, is solving. Write this down. For a specific variable. Now, the good thing about solving for a specific variable is there's no calculator needed, okay? Sometimes it's very easy, it's only one step, and sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult, but the goal is, well, what's our goal? I can rearrange a given formula to solve for a single unknown variable. Okay, when I say variables, we're thinking what? What are variables? Letters, right? Letters. They're going to be A, B, C, all the way to Z. Usually, those are the letters we deal with. They can also be Greek, but for our purpose, we're keeping it very simple with letters, just like the ones you see all over your paper here. Okay, so to be familiar with this, you kind of need to know how to do PEMDAS, you know, the order of operations. You know, you need to know how to reverse them as well. And also, you need to know what operation is happening. For example, it's obvious when you see L plus W that you know it's addition. You would subtract to get rid of them. You know, it's obvious that it's subtraction, so you would add to get rid of it. This one is a little bit less obvious for some people. When it's two letters that are right next to each other, that means it is going to be multiplication, though. Okay, so LW means what? L times W. And then L divided by W as a fraction is always division. So you know that you can multiply and divide, and those are opposites. Those undo each other, just like addition and subtraction undo each other. Okay, a lot of these things you're very familiar with, you just need to practice them. So let's go ahead and proceed with this part right here. Literal equations work the same way as all of the other equations we've ever done. The only difference, there aren't any numbers. So for this first example, this is this is an equation that has numbers. It's something we've seen before. How do you get W by itself? It says to solve for W, so how do you get it by itself? Well, what would you do? How would you get rid of the 4? How do you get rid of the 4 that's next to the W? Yeah, you would divide by 4. So this is an example of just a straight equation, right? So if you divide by 4 to both sides, you're going to get an answer of 15 over 4, and you can leave it like that, okay? Or you could simplify, right? 15 divided by 4 happens to be 3.75, but remember I told you, a calculator? You don't even need a calculator for this, because this right here, this right here, this right here, they typically don't have any numbers. There's no need for calculators. Okay. You might say, oh, there's no numbers. Well, sometimes there's numbers like this, but most of the time there aren't. Okay. So this next one, I'm going to solve these 3 right here. I'm going to ask you to solve the next problems after that. So for this next one right here, it says solve for W. What does that mean? Your goal. What is your goal? It's important to understand what it means to solve for W. It says goal, isolate W. Get W by itself. So how would I get rid of the thing that's next to W? These two problems are the same. Very similar, sorry. How would you get rid of the L? How would you get rid of the 4? How did we get rid of the 4? We divided. So how do we get rid of the L? Yes, we also have to divide by L. To what? To both sides. To do what? To isolate W, to get W by itself. Now here's the good thing. Is W by itself now? Yes, it is. So whatever is written on the left side there, that is quite literally, not because it's called literal equations, it's quite literally the answer. This is what W is. It's A divided by L. All right, we're going to do two more, and I'm going to ask you to do the rest. So this next one says solve for what? Solve for y. So what's their goal? Isolate y. Everything around y needs to go. So this one says 4x plus y equals 10. Now how do you get y by itself? Okay, this addition sign says what? We got to get rid of that by subtraction. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4 and x. 4x. Okay, now here's the thing. Is y by itself? It is! So we're winning. One way to write my answer is 10 minus 4x, which is exactly what you see here. Or, if you like it to be in y equals mx plus b form, you'd write the negative 4x first, and then a plus 10. So negative 4x plus 10. It's just basically switching the two values there. Okay, either of those answers would be accepted. It's just typically this is the one that we are used to. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so you're going to see that this lesson ties in a lot with things that we've learned in the past. It's just, can you know exactly what to do to get these variables by themselves? So some of these questions are going to be a little easier than others. Let me do one more, and then I'll have you try out the rest. Okay. So this one says, solve for y. So what's our goal? Isolate the variable that is y. Now how do you get rid of everything around y on this side of the equation? It says RT plus y equals W. You tell me, how do you get y by itself in this case? How do I get rid of the RT? Correct answer? Subtract RT. Why? What's RT doing to y? It's adding y. So how do you get rid of the RT? You would actually just subtract it. So final answer, our goal is to get y by itself. We have it. So y equals W minus RT. Now it's going to be weird. You're going to say, is that my answer? Yes, it is. It is. Again, remember that you can write your answers in different ways. Various answers are typically accepted. Sometimes simplifying is the best thing to do. In this case, we can't simplify, but we could write it in a different way if we wanted to. Now, which one looks better to you? I would probably say this one is the one that's preferred. Okay, so I have a task for you, and if you're working with a group, that is even better. I want you to complete numbers 1 through 6, and then you're going to flip your page and complete the rest. All right, when you're finished, I want you to check with your teacher or check your work, however your teacher does this. So, of course, complete numbers 1 through 14. So please complete number 1 through 14. Go, go, go.